Good morning, Charlie Riverman Bergeron here. Um, as usual on Friday mornings, I have Presence of Light show that I do on humanity healing. However, I'm being forced to do it live from my own page through my cell phone as my camera is not being accepted. Google doesn't seem to want to work with Facebook or whatever their issues are, and I just I'm sad that I can't be on Humanity Healing because its outreach is just so amazing, and it's been a gift from them to me to go live, and so this is all new. It's all interesting, and it's beautiful. Today's talk is really about it's remember, trust, and receive, and so it's I'm going to begin. I'm just going to just go with the flow and know that whatever is happening, there is a solution to this somewhere, and to just trust. And so, good morning. With that craziness, let's get that out of the way. I think I'm going to light some Palo Santo here and clear the air. So, it's going to be interesting because I can be more relaxed on my page. I don't have such a broad outreach, and I'll be a little bit more me. You get to see a little more me in this. Okay, Tyson, Anita, Jennifer, love you all. Bless you, bless you, bless you. So, part of this morning was, today's date is 5/15/20. And you know, this is an amazing day on a lot of levels. If you break it down, you add the 5 and the 15, so you have 20, 20, 20. 222, amazing, powerful number. And that this sequence of numbers really encourages us to look for the positivity in our lives. Okay, it's a flow of energies that comes forth from the universe and surround us with abundance. It's amazing how first of all, we just need to remember who we are. We need to remember who we are. Not just as a physical body, but deeper as the divine beings of light and love that we truly are. These amazing sovereign beings whose creative power has become distorted and misused by others, so many others, to gain power over all of us, and just to distort the whole frequency of human life on planet Earth. So interestingly, many people get uncomfortable when I start talking like this, and I found it. Now I find it very humorous because I can feel their energy shift. They shift into a sort of a defensive pattern. There's like a screen of wall goes up, and it's like, oh, where is he going? What's he talking about? But if you move through anything, you move through that initial defense field coming up, which happens to all of us. We don't know what's going to trigger that. But when it happens, if we can just move through that arising of defense, what happens is we open the door to remembering, okay? And remembering that all of us begin life without prejudice and without judgment. Okay? We're not coming into this world with sadness. We don't come into this world with separation. We're not born with the control or fear of wars or fear of death or any of this. We are pure. We're innocent and we are pure. We're coming from a higher divine source, and we're beginning again in the water of our mother's wombs. Okay? this is not, there's no conscious awareness, there's no control over our physical bodies. We are just water in our mother's wombs. And the funny thing is that we're not really considered present or alive until they hear a heartbeat. And what is that heartbeat but the pumping of the water in our own bodies, to create our own distinct rhythm and pattern of energy. Okay? So that's remembering. I want you to remember, and I have a card, I don't know if I can show it on here, but these are the Galactic Cards. And this one is just about remembering. This is the card Remember. This beautiful picture of the galaxy. Look at that. Those stars. This is who we are. This is where we came from. This is the evolution of the universe, not just the evolution of humanity. And it's always evolving. The second word that I looked for the card and was trust. So the words came to me without looking for cards, and I always do that. Usually I do the cards first, and then I get the words, and this was backwards. So it's sort of a backwards day today, I guess. The word trust. The source of our life presence communicates to us and through us before we take our first breaths. Okay? So I want you to remember, or try to remember, that there was a conscious awareness, because you are a conscious being when you're not embodied. And that's going to be hard to kind of wrap your mind around. But even when we're not in a body, a physical body, as a human, there is a consciousness, an individual consciousness, and we are part of a collective consciousness. And as we take our first breath, we exist, and after we surrender our breath and we take our last breath, we exist. So this is an amazing time right now to really start to remember that we exist outside of our bodies, within our bodies, and when our bodies are gone. There is no separation. And I say this no separation because this is a big part of what's happening right now in the whole world. Every human being is experiencing this. And so many of people like myself have had what we would call an NDE, a near-death experience. And my experience was a motorcycle accident, and I had actually returned into my body from an amazing journey, which is a whole book on some levels, or at least a couple of chapters. But I remember coming into my body again, and I was laying in a hospital on a table, and it was a motorcycle accident, and so I was pretty banged up, and I had this scar. My head was split open, and I could barely move. And I remember the doctor speaking to me, and he was very sarcastic. And I just remember that energy. And I know what he said. He said, welcome back, Mr. Bergeron. I'm going to see you're back with us, and we're going to pick out the gravel and whatever in your head. And he said, but he was very sarcastic. And that energy hit me. And I remember how it felt as I was coming back into my body. And there was this person who was supposedly the leader. He's a doctor, he's a professional. This is his profession, and he's supposed to be kind and caring in our world, we would think. My programming was still in my brain and I was being greeted with this sarcasm. And it was said in a derogatory manner, as if he was looking at me as a piece of dirt, and he didn't even want to do this. He was almost regretful that I came back and he had to finish doing what he was doing. I was wasting his time. He would rather be doing something more special. Those energies I've released, but you can hear in my voice the aggravation at that. So again, we are these energy beings that no matter where we are, no matter where our consciousness is, we are receiving these energies, and these energies are affecting us. Okay, that was 28 years ago, and I can still feel it. Although I don't get overly upset about it, because I can look and just say, wow, this is why I'm here right now, is to help others to realize that what we see and feel and be in this world is not what we think it is, and not what we've been told it is. And so many of these messages that I received when I first came back was to not go near anybody that was studying near-death experiences. And that was 28 years ago, so it was a beginning then of trying to study and get information and people into groups and to try to psychoanalyze, et cetera, and get the information. Is this real? Is it not real? I know it's real. I don't have to be convinced of it. But the message from my guides was, these people were not to be trusted. And that kind of made my mind go a little wacko, because it was, these are the professionals. These are the people who are supposed to have all the wisdom. And I'm not supposed to trust them? Wow. So the second word, trust, is not about what we think it is. It's who can we really trust if not our educated professionals? Okay? The only beings I could resonate with at that time were what I called angels, because that's all I knew. I only knew of angels through my Christian teaching or religious teaching as a child. Not that everybody believed in them, but, you know, they were there. They were in the artwork. They were, you know, beings with halos. So I felt comfortable with that concept of angels, of etheric beings that you could trust and who had your best interest in their hearts. So my communication with what I called angels in the beginning, and I still communicate with angels, but I communicate with thousands of other beings. And I say thousands because I don't know. It is so expansive that I can't even put words to it. But these beings of light would surround me in my larger multidimensional self and guide me and direct me. And they still do, just like I'm hearing this morning talking about this. So trust was something I had to learn, because in my childhood and through my life, trust was a real big issue. Every time I trusted somebody, as we do as humans, I got burned. And many of you have those scars and wounds of the people that you were supposed to trust, who were your guardians or your lovers or whatever, were really damaging to you. This is all the process of shutting down our heart. And right now, the key is to keep your hearts open and to speak openly from that heart space, as you hear me do. Not that I'm greater than anyone else, but I'm comfortable with expressing this, even though my human mind gets scared when after it comes out and I said that, oh my God, somebody's gonna, blah, blah, blah. Because that patterning, that energy is in our body. And this is part of what we're releasing right now as these amazing beings of light that we are. We're releasing all of this traumatic patterning and energetic frequencies, because they no longer serve humanity. Humanity is moving beyond that. And for those who are still perpetrating fear and power over others and control, they're going to be dissipated. I'm going to use the word dissipated. They're dissipating, and as their power dissipates, so too will they. And it's not we have to fight them, we have to get rid of them, we have to do anything to them. It's just going to happen because they will become powerless, and they receive their power from us by stealing it from us. That's another whole story. So at this point, trusting ourselves is very much the key to moving forward in our now evolution. Now evolution. It's the evolution in the now. And so we can't become trapped anymore. And we have to be connected totally to our oneness and come back into our energy fields, relearning how to trust the frequencies of alignment. And this is I'm looking at the big screen, and here I'm confused. Here's the picture of the galaxy. This is the constellation of Canis Major. 2 spiral galaxies passing like ships in the night. I like to think of them as the masculine and the feminine energies. This is the energies of so many patterns in our lives and we need to trust those energies again. And so we remember, and then once we remember, we have to trust. Okay? So if you're with me, this is great. And I can't really see. I can see you down here, but I don't want to mess with my phone because I don't want any more screw-ups today. Never lose your sense of humor. So each of us are these beautiful receivers, okay? And I capitalize that word in my show notes because the universe, which I capitalize, is always part of this greater connector field that is yet still only a small fragment of that which we understand and commonly refer to as God or Supreme Creator, and which is always communicating to us and with us and through us, whether we acknowledge it or not. And I say it because it's both masculine and feminine. There's no separation as to is it male or female? And most of us have been taught that God is this masculine energy, and that needs to be released as well. And yet, the language of this beingness is always one of offering abundance. The universe continually offers us abundance. That which we call God is always offering us abundance. So receive. How do we receive that? This is a major problem for most of us. Most of us have been taught that we don't deserve it. That for some reason we're not good enough. We didn't do enough. We weren't nice enough. We didn't do what somebody told us. All of these things from childhood, from birth, from in the womb. From in the womb, we maybe made our mothers uncomfortable and she got pissed off at us. And I'm going to be blunt with this. All of those energies have affected us throughout our lifetime. And this is, again, we have to remember who we are beyond all of that and tap into this beautiful heart opening to remembering and trusting. Trust. Remember and trust. Because this is the pathway that has now been cleared and activated so that it's on so many levels that and that it's needed on so many levels in order to restore the imbalances that have slowly, over thousands of years, buried us in deep hatred and judgment. So the key is to keeping our hearts open. Can we keep our hearts open no matter what energy comes to us? Doesn't mean it's sort of like a lens that you can narrow the lens down so you don't get as much of that energy, but don't shut your heart. Remember to keep your heart open. Can we begin again in trusting what we understand as being divine or being supernatural, positive, powerful energy that just flows through the chaos and weaves its way, flows its way through all of what we fear, flows all the way through what we have been taught is not real, or what we are taught is negative or positive, or it doesn't choose sides. It doesn't take sides. It has no interest in creating your life or destroying your life. It's energy and it's potential. And it's the unlimitedness of the universe. Everything you see out in that world is a powerful energy of potential. Here's this card here. And this one is just number NGC 1309. And it's a pinwheel. Like it's spinning with a gentle breeze blowing behind it. A giant pinwheel that we as children love to blow and love to watch spin the different colors. It was mesmerizing. And this is what it is. It's a part of being mesmerized once again as innocent children in ways that align with our heart energy and create that vortex of powerful peace, powerful light, and powerful love that align us above and beyond what we understand as unlimitedness. It removes all boundaries. There's no boundary that can stay in place in a pinwheel. It's always moving. It's always motivating. The lies can't stay. Nothing can stick to this because it's always throwing it off. And this is where we have to come back to our divine power. The divine power to throw off all that doesn't serve the greater whole of our collective. This aligning in unlimitedness removes all boundaries. And it's truly desiring the balancing of our divine feminine and masculine energies, our presence as both feminine and masculine. And when we look at separation, what is the greatest, the most painful and hurtful separation that has ever happened to these beautiful source of unconditional love beings that we are? What is the worst thing that has happened to us is to separate the masculine and feminine energies and make one more powerful than the other. That is the true creation of all the pain and suffering that you see in the world today. This is what you have to remember. This is what I have to remember, is that I'm not powerless over this anymore. We have to remember and trust and receive a renewal of everything that has been taken away, or everything that has been sucked out of us and collected to empower somebody or something else against us. This is what we're moving through. This is why it's imperative for me today to speak this message. Normally I wouldn't have struggled to put this out there. And as I embraced this confusion this morning, for whatever reason, I looked at it and said, thank you. You've given me the message of how important it is right now for all of us to embrace the painful memories and know that they are being released. Whether we think they're not going fast enough or whether we're feeling pain as they do release, but they can no longer move forward. We can move forward. We're going to move forward in our evolution. But they are going to stay behind. And what we see playing out in the world today is the world that's in power, the world that is in control of others, is truly trying to erase the memory of humanity and superimpose over it a new memory which makes it able for them to continue the controlling power over humanity. They are stuck in a paradigm of self-destruction, and they're in their infinite wisdom of computers and medicines and science and technology. They are blind to the self-destruction of themselves. So I leave you from my heart with this message today, one which comes through me from those angelic guides, those galactic guides, those energy beings, whatever they are. I choose not to name them or describe them because it's irrelevant. I know they're there. They've been with me for 28 years. They were with me before that, but I just couldn't see them, hear them, or be able to communicate with them. So I ask you all to keep your hearts open, keep listening, and as I say, remember, trust, and receive. With that, I'm complete. I thank you all for showing up. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. I am you. You are me. We are unity. We have never been anything else. May the blessings of my words, may the blessings of my energy be with you in your hearts, clearing away the debris for you to go even deeper up through the heart to the divine being of light that you truly are. Bless you. Have a good week. I apologize to Humanity Healing for not getting on, but I got the message out. That's my main concern. Bye-bye. And if I can figure out how to shut this off, that'll even be greater. Finish. Okay. I love you. Bye-bye.